Hello everyone! In that video I'm going to show you how to create a dynamic footstep audio system using FMOD and implemented it into Unreal Engine 5. Why is the system dynamic? Because our footstep audio is going to dynamically change based on the surface material and movement type. All the assets, including audio files that I'm going to use in that video, are available on FAB. You can find the link below the video. Let's go! We're going to start working on our dynamic system with preparing project inside FMOD Studio. So just open FMOD and create new project. I already have one, so I will open it. First thing that we're going to do is create a bank. For that purpose we go to Banks tab. I already have one, but you're going to click right button on your mouse and select New Bank. I already have Foley and Ambience. It's good to have different bank for different type of audio that you're going to use in your project. So for example, I can create a new one that calls Music. Now go to Event tab. To keep everything organized, I recommend you to create a folder first. Right click on the mouse and select New Folder. I'm going to create just as an example, Music one. So you're going to create Footstep, or it could be a Foley folder, and inside that folder you can create Footstep. Right now I'm going to use Footstep 1. Inside the folder we're going to create events. They're going to represent our movement type. In my case it's jump, land, run, sneak and walk. You could have as much as you're going to use. So I already have that events, but you need to click on your folder and with right click select New Event and call it as you want. I can add walk backwards. Now we're going to create a parameter. For that, select event, and inside the event on blank space right click and select Add Parameter Sheet. Select New Parameter. Because we're going to tell with that parameter surface type, we're going to use name of the surface as a label. So we're going to use labeled parameter type. You can call it as you wish, for example, surfaces. Right now we have 3 values, and you should have as much as you have surfaces types in your game. It's important and it's very easy to use them if you name them correctly. So that's just slowly double click on every value. Doesn't work. And call it concrete, wood, metal. It should represent surface materials inside your game. To add new one, you just add new and new as much as you need. You should remember that every value that we have here, it actually contains number. So that names is for our understanding, but the game gonna use that numbers. That parameter gonna be local, it's okay. Additional options, nothing, we're not gonna change anything. Initial value, it's actually default, so I'm gonna use concrete. So here, now we need to add parameter and select the parameters that we have just created, surfaces. Inside the parameter sheet, right click on master audio track and select add audio track. That's a track where we're gonna actually store our audio files, footsteps audio files. Rename it as footsteps audio. Now open the folder where you have your audio files. Select movement types that you would like to use and simply copy them to your FMOD project. I already have one, so I will just replace. So we can see that FMOD Studio already created a multi-instrument for us. That is exactly what we need here. You can listen to it, keep it selected and press space. Yeah, that's good. So here, to make it more realistic, we should add a little bit of randomization and modulation. random volume, like 5 dB, that's okay. And a little bit modulation on our pitch, random. Pitch also gonna be like not too much, maybe 3. Can you listen to that? Yes, sounds good. So you need to just repeat that action again and again. Now we have deep water. Deep water, select your movement type. I don't have walk backwards, so I'm just like showing you on whatever I have. Okay, replace. Oh, that's loud. But you got the idea. So as a result, you will have event full of your audio files with randomization on that. So when you finish that, you will see that your event is actually unassigned to any bank, but we already create one, so you can select all your events like that. In my case, only one is not selected. Again, right click on that and assign to bank, browse, and here are fully bank. Now save everything. I actually don't need that one. Save everything and build all platforms. Now we need to connect everything to Unreal Engine 5. In that video, I'm not going to show you how to actually connect FMOD project and Unreal Engine 1, because that video is already exists plenty on YouTube. I will add a link for grade 1 below that video, and we will just assume that it's already connected. So let's prepare our Unreal Engine project to implement our events that we just created in FMOD. First of all, we need to receive information about that physical materials that we have in the game. So for that, go to Edit, Project Setting, select on your list left Physics here, and below that you have Physical Surfaces list. So you could have up to 62 custom surface types for your project. So I already add what surfaces I use. You can just simply add as much as you want. For example, plastic. It's automatically saved, so you don't need to worry about that. Just close. Create a folder physical materials. And you will need to create as much physical material assets as you're going to use in your game. I already have a bunch of them, but you need to right click to empty space and search for physical material. Select physical materials, that is actually that list that we just edited in the project setting. Select physical material, and I don't have plastic, and I just create plastic, so I will add that one. Plastic. Open that, and in surface type, I need to select plastic. Click Save, and I can close it. So now you need to add that physical material asset to your object, to your surfaces, to your material in the game. For example, in the level, you find the surface you would like to have, that material that represents your material, select it, and in Details panel, we can see what material it actually uses. You can, if it's like something very random or very specific, you can add physics material override and select it here. But to not add it for every single object in your level, you can just go to that material, open it, and in Details of that material, search for physical material and select the ones that represent that material. In my case is pebble. Save. Close. Now we need to create two enumeration, foot side and second foot type. So foot side, it's left and right. Foot type is every movement type that you would have. I have walk, run, sneak, jump, and land. To create enumeration, you just need to right click to blank space, and in Blueprint we have enumeration. And we need to have animation notify. That actually is the asset that's going to trigger our audio files. So for that, right click on a blank space, blueprint class, search for anim notify, select just parent one, select, call it properly, anim notify, footsteps, I already have one. And when you will open it, you will see it like that. So we need to work with function receive anim notify. That's the information that we're going to receive from our animations. So we go to functions and select received notify. Now we have that graph where we can add all our logic. So I already have one and I'm just going to explain you what I've added in here. First of all, because we're going to use a lot of reference to our mesh component, it's actually our character, we just create a local variable for that. Just drag, promote to local variable, and you will have one. I already have mesh component. So for mesh component, we need to drag a wire and we'll search for get socket location. What's socket? That's going to be a variable because it's going to be either left or right foot. So because it's going to be a variable, we also drag a wire and promote to local variable. We call it socket. Now when we have this location from our either left or right foot, we're going to set it as a foot location. So promote to local variable, foot location. Now we're going to actually switch logic based on what foot side is that. So from that node, we're going to drag a wire and search for switch on that enumerations that we created recently. In my case, it was E, footstep side. Then I can just select it from here. But what selection? It's also going to be a variable, but it's going to be a variable that we deliberately put to every anim notify that we're going to use. So again, promote to variable because it's going to be global one, and call it foot side. You will see it now in your variable list and make it visible. That enumeration footstep side is essentially just text. It's for us and it doesn't represent anything in the game. So we need to actually declare left foot side. What is that? So we grab our socket variable, select set, and we should set one for left, one for right, connect it, and in socket name, we're going to mention what socket name we're actually going to use. For that, to find that name, you need to open your skeletal mesh that you're going to use. Because I know it's going to be foot, I can just search for foot, left foot, right foot, very easy. Right click, copy select bond name, put it, left foot, and that was right foot. Okay. Now from each of that foot, depends on which one we select, we're gonna line trace below to the ground to check what surface is actually below that socket. So for that, we'll have our foot location variable, the one that we already found, and it's going to be our line trace by channel start. Where is going to be end for that line trace? It's going to be, because it's vector, we can just subtract. Z is vector, vertical vector, so we just need to subtract 150. If you have a very big vector, you need to make that number bigger, but for my case, that's fine. Now to avoid any blocking of that line trace with the character itself, we need to select our mesh component, get, then drag a wire, get owner, then for everything that belongs to the owner, so make array, we're gonna ignore it. Then, when our line trace is going down, and if it's hit something, that we need to actually do something with that. So if we received a value back, then it's true, then we're gonna move forward. So what we're actually gonna do, we need to play audio. Events from FMOD are gonna play in Unreal Engine, so we need to play event, but we need to play it where at location where our bone is, actually our foot location. So we just drag a wire and search for play event at location. You can be sure that it's about our audio because it's under the tab audio FMOD. Event at location. Location is our footstep location. Just get that variable, connect it to location, autoplay, yes. But what event we need to play? That's for what we created our second enumeration. We need to actually say it. So if we have that movement type, that we need to call that particular event. So we need to map that information. For that we're going to create a variable, footstep type event. I already have one, so I'll call it 02. Variable type is going to be our enumerations that we create recently. In my case, it was enumeration food type. And we're gonna map it with FMOD event. So we search for event, just FMOD event, yes, object reference. Now we're gonna get it, and from that we need to find what event actually we're gonna use, and it will depend on our type of movement. How are we gonna receive it? We just deliberately set it from animations that we have. So for that we're gonna create a new variable, call it foot type. I already have one, so it's gonna be 02, and that's gonna be our enumeration foot type. It's gonna be just single variable. We're gonna drag it, get, and connect to our find node. And as a result, we're gonna receive event that we can connect to our play event at location node. Now we know what movement type is that, so we're gonna check surface as well. For that, from our hit result, we need to break it because we're interested only in physical material. From physical material, we're gonna find our surface type, get surface type. We're gonna create the same mapping variable, surface type value. That's that number that we put to our parameter in FMOD. Value, I have one, so it's gonna be 02. And the value is actually array. Compile. We now can see that every index of the array could be connected to our enumeration. But we don't need enumeration. We need surface, physical surfaces. Compile. Index 0 default. Yeah, now we can see all the surfaces that we put to our project setting. Now, how are we gonna know what index should be connected to what material? That value that we put to FMOD project. We go to FMOD project, go to window, reset browser, and we have our parameters in here. Select surface, and we can now edit parameter and see all values, how our values connected to our surface materials. So value 0 is default concrete, value 1 is deep water, value 2 is grass, and so on. that's gonna be stored in your array. Index 0 is default, 0, 1 was deep water, index 2 grass. Okay, select grass and so on. So you need to create an array with all your values and all your physical materials. So you need to have result like that. So when you're finished with assigning everything together, we just get it, then drag, again find item, surface type, and we're gonna receive integer. That's an integer, that's a value that we're gonna send back to FMOD. For that, we're gonna set that parameter. So we need to call event, event instance set parameter. But what parameter? It's the same name of parameter that we specified in FMOD, so it's better to just copy and paste. And value is that one that we just received from our array. We also could check speed of the character to, for example, make our footstep sounds more loud when it's running, sprinting, and very quiet when it's just like a little bit of movement. It sounds very good and useful. I'm not going to show it right now just because that video is already quite long, but if you are interested, just say it in the comment below and I will record additional video where I can show you how I created the logic to check speed of the character. So for now we can just ignore it and connect to a return node. Compile, save. Almost all. So now we need to add that anim notify to animations that our character use. In my case, there's lots of animations referred to my character, but I'm gonna add just basic walking, run. So you can see I already added, so we can have sound, and we have sound. That's great. So to add it to your animation, you need to create new track. Track, add notify track. I call it audio. You can call it whatever you like. And pointing to that track, right click, add notify, and select that notify that we just created. Animation notify footsteps. Here select that notify, and in the details we need to specify what leg is that. You can see that that is left leg, okay? And what movement type? It's walking, walk. Then we need to find where our next leg touches the ground, so it's here. The same add notify, footstep notify, and here we're gonna change it to right leg and still walk. When you will add it to different animations like running, jumping, landing, you need to select different foot type that represent your movement type. Okay, I already have one, so I don't need that one, so I will just remove the track, select, save and close. And that's actually all. So now we can test it. Yes, I can hear the sound of walking, the sound of running, and surfaces also represent every surfaces that we have here. Ta-da!